All year round, the outdoors play a big part in our lives here in the Pacific Northwest. And as we head into winter, skiing and snowboarding will really start to pick up. And we want to make sure everyone out there stays safe and healthy. Dr. Eric Varley is a spine surgeon with Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, and he's got some helpful reminders for us. And we have model Catherine here as well, that you'll see some of what she's about to show us soon. But I want to start with, ski season, snowboarding, all of it's kicking off right now. Why do you think it's so important to talk about safety?
So it's a great question. Skiing and snowboarding are such a big part of our culture here in the Pacific Northwest. And when we start out the season, a lot of times what we remember is how we were doing at the end of the season when we're in shape. So starting out and being thoughtful about how we approach a good season makes it great for everyone, makes it great for our family, keeps us safe, and keeps other people on the hill safe.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense, because you're totally right. It's like even with running, you think, yeah, I can run a 5K from the couch, and then 100%. You soon find out, no, you cannot. What role does posture and form play in making sure that you stay healthy and safe while skiing?
Well, that is a great question, and that is why we've got Catherine here to really help us model this for you all. And so really what it is paying attention to where your body is in space, being mindful when you're out on the hill. So looking at Catherine, she can give us an example. When you're too far forward in your skis, it puts a lot of pressure on your low back. And we get in this position sometimes as we get fatigued. And then the flip side is if you're too far back, you're in the back seat and you're leaning back, it also puts too much pressure on your back. So paying attention that your shins are right against the tongue of your ski boots, your weight is slightly forward and your arms are at 90 degrees. If you're aware of that, then you know you're in a good position. But if you find yourself constantly falling out of that position, particularly at the end of the day, right?
When you're fatigued, right.
Exactly. That's when you might want to say, you know what, I need to take a break, I need to call it a day. And a lot of injury prevention is just self-awareness of where your body is in space and whether you're too far forward, too far back, and just being aware of it.
And maybe firing your core, does that have to do? I feel 100%. Like everyone's always saying, fire up your core.
100%. And and that actually brings another thing that Catherine might be able to help with us a little bit, is show us some of those core things.
Okay, I know, and this is what people can do to prepare their bodies for a safe and fun season on the slope. So you have some exercises.
Exactly, and it's important to say there's a lot of different exercises. You're using your legs a lot. So this is just focusing on core things. And your core is the foundation, right? When I was showing you those examples, that's all core stuff. And one way you protect yourself from getting tired out and actually protect your knees and your legs is by having a strong core.
Okay.
And there's a few different examples of things you can do beyond
I know,
just
you got
it.
It takes a hot minute to get out of that. Okay, what are some of these exercises?
Perfect. Well, Catherine, if you wouldn't mind, we'll show you a side plank, which really works on your obliques. And if you lay here on the side, up on one elbow, like this, and then you can lower your hip to the ground and then come back up, and it really builds these obliques.
Like hip dips?
Yep.
Is that kind of what they're called?
Exactly, exactly. And then the next example I can show you is planks. And this is a little bit of a variation on this. It's marching planks, where Catherine can bring up her foot to her opposite hand, and doing this really focuses on that core, but hits more of a broad spectrum of your abdominal muscles.
Oh, okay.
And then the final thing, if we're feeling heroic, is Superwoman. So you can lay down like this, and by extending your arms out, you can really work your back muscles. And then if you pretend like you're swimming in the ocean, you can bring your arms back. That's just another way to engage some of those back muscles. And doing this routine really can help strengthen your core, not just your abs, which is what we all think about, but your whole core muscles.
Is this something too daily that would be okay and comfortable for someone to do? Okay,
absolutely.
Fabulous. And what advice do you have if someone right now is already experiencing some back pain and some other ailments?
No, it's a good question. So first thing of it is, most back injuries are something minor. So it's rest, ice, anti-inflammatories, and give it some time. If your body's hurting, whether it's your back, your knee, what have you, listen to your body and give yourself time to heal. But if it's something where the pain keeps increasing, or you're just really struggling, or it keeps reoccurring, getting evaluated by a physician, a surgeon, an orthopedic spine, what have you, can be really important to know what's going on and what are your treatment options should you even need them.
Amazing. And I feel like you kind of touched on this already, but do you have any other final thoughts on any tips and ways that people can stay healthy this ski season, snowboarding, whatever they are doing out on the slopes?
Yeah, and such a great question. Yeah, I think what it comes down to is being aware and having a certain sense of humility about what you're doing, right? And this applies to a lot of things. But being aware that you're getting back into it. This is new to your body. You haven't done it in a while. And paying attention to where your form is at, how you're skiing, how your body is feeling is really important. It keeps you safe, it gives you a great season, and it keeps other people on the hill safe too. So, you put those things together, you can have a blast. And that's what getting out there is all about.
Exactly. It's a win-win. Thank you so much. Thank you for being our model today, Catherine. Thank you to you, doctor. That was all great. And to learn more about what we discussed today, please visit the website that you see right there on your screen, vmfh.org/spine.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Virginia Mason Franciscan Health.